Hey guys, thanks for joining us for this 89th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Special guests on this episode include Brigadier General A.J. Tata. Got a brand new, exciting book to talk about, Chasing the Lion. We'll also visit with Chris Matthews about his new book, This Country, My Life in Politics and History. We'll also visit with country pop artist Juna N Joey about their new single, Something Good to Miss. Also, we'll talk about upcoming summer dates and more. Of course, if you would, please take the time to subscribe, comment, leave some feedback, check out the shop, and of course, share with your friends. Now, just in case there was any question about this, yes, your 8-year-old knows more about dinosaurs than you do, and maybe a lot more. Now, yesterday was International Dinosaur Day, and a new poll found American adults know very little about dinosaurs, even though we loved them as kids. Now, here's the craziest stat. Close to half of Americans said that they think it's possible that dinosaurs still exist in some remote corner of the world. Now, that might be true if you count birds, or if there's a real-life Jurassic Park we really don't know about. Now, here are a few quick stats on what we know and don't know about dinosaurs. Number 1 in 5 adults think that dinosaurs were still roaming the earth in large numbers 100 years ago, but fossil records put it at more like 65 million years. Number 2, 54% think they've only lived in Africa and North America, but their bones have been found all over the world. And number 3, the average adult can name 4 different dinosaurs. T-Rexes are number 1. 47% could not identify a Triceratops. He's a Fox News military expert, author, and U.S. Army Brigadier General A.J. Tata on the line with us. And first off, General Tata, I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to be on this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cameron. I really appreciate it, and it's great to chat with you and your listeners.
Now, General, which of those slash marks there is the most surprising for you? Is it the author? Was that something that you always saw in your earlier years as well?
I've always enjoyed writing, and being an author is, I'm proud to do that. I was proud to serve in any of the capacities I've served in, whether it was as a soldier, paratrooper, as a school superintendent in Raleigh, North Carolina, as a state secretary of transportation in North Carolina, as the undersecretary of defense for policy in the Trump administration. All of those things have made me proud. And writing, though, is something I've always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. And Chasing the Lion is my 14th novel, and it kind of blows me away that when I say that. But I've written 14 books, and you figure each book's about 100,000 words. That I've got about 1,000,004 words in print, and that just it's shocking to me that I've been able to actualize this childhood dream to the success that we have.
Now, tell our listeners about Chasing the Lion. And this was written pre-pandemic, but it sure fits in now, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I turned it in, Chasing the Lion, in January of last year, and I joined the Trump administration in late April of last year. It's in a senior role in the Pentagon. And in that 4 months there, I got to do edits. And in those 4 months, the pandemic began to surge, particularly in March and April. And so as I was doing the edits prior to joining the administration, I wove in, I had no idea where COVID was going, but it was interesting to me that I had already written a book about, chemical warfare and the impact that it has on the country. So I'm glad I was able to get the edits in and at least make it have COVID as a touchstone, because just like you can't write a thriller without having taking into account the reality of 9/11, I think going forward you're not going to be able to write anything without taking into account of what COVID has done to the world. And so it makes it, I think, a little more realistic.
Now, General, what do you think we have learned from COVID, and how do you think that has helped us prepare for the next whatever it is that we face?
Yeah. So I think the COVID response is the vaccines were number one vector. You think about how quickly the vaccines have been made, and I've had mine, and I'm thankful that we're able to get our arms around it. I know there's questions about the vaccine and all of that, but the bottom line is that this was a virus that went global, and so being able to respond to that, I do the forensics, and I'm concerned about some of the emails that I'm seeing that Fauci had with the Wuhan lab founder and donor, and the fact that an American citizen is communicating with someone whose vested interest is protecting the Wuhan lab. I think that's a real cause for concern for this country. I think it's something that instead of advocating for getting to the bottom of what happened in that lab, whether it happened in that lab, why did China shut down its own travel but allow international travel? Because they knew how deadly the virus was. All of those critical questions were not being asked because the media was propagating a narrative that, quite frankly, was harmful to the president, and their goal was not to get to the truth, in my view, but it was to be as harmful as they could to the current administration and by extension, the country. So the more casualties, the more death, the more chaos, the better from a media standpoint, because that meant it was the president would be impacted, and it would set the stage for the elections in November, which is unfortunate because the people were ill served by the media in particular.
Now, General, in your time of service, are you surprised with the recollection that you had as you were sitting down and writing, like you said, your 14th novel, obviously based on some of your experiences?
No, writing for me, Cameron, is a cathartic experience, and every book I get invested with the characters and their outcomes and the conflict they're trying to resolve, and so it's like a little bit like being an actor. You become you get inside the head of all your characters, and you're actually, as I write, for me at least anyway, it's a lot like acting, and instead of being on TV, I'm able to write a scene and then edit a scene and until the final product is I believe ready for publication. And but it's as I write, I draw on experience, but I also draw on a creative imagination.
That's right. And again, the new book, Chasing the Lion. General, I always want to make sure and let our listeners know where the best place to find more info about the book and everything you've got going social media wise as well, sir.
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at AJ Tata. I'm on Instagram at AJ Tata _author. Facebook, AJ Tata author, and you can buy the book at any bookstore. Macmillan, St. Martin's is one of the biggest publishers out there, and it's in Barnes and Noble, it's in bookstore, airport bookstores, Costco, all over the country, and online, of course, it's in Audible. There's an audio version, there's an ebook version, and then of course there's the hardcover. And it's out. Yesterday was the release day, and it's getting a lot of great reviews from Mystery and Suspense magazine and other reviewers, and I'm really proud of the team that helped launch this book from St. Martin's Press.
That's awesome. And again, that new book, Chasing the Lion, General A.J. Tata, it has been a true privilege to have the chance to visit with you this morning, sir. I hope you have continued success, and we can catch up again real soon.
Thank you so much, Cameron. I appreciate it.
Now think about how many people you really trust in your life. There's friends, family, and maybe Tom Hanks. Now, you can't count yourself or your pets, or Tom Hanks, actually. According to a recent study, the average adult trusts just 7 people, and 40% say the pandemic has actually helped reveal who's trustworthy and who isn't. Now, more than 8 out of 10 people think they themselves are trustworthy, though. Now, it also found the top signs that you're trustworthy, and those include being reliable, not being manipulative, having integrity, respecting boundaries, being a good listener, being considerate, being authentic, and not canceling plans at the last minute. It's been a minute since we had the chance to visit with him. Chris Matthews got a new book, This Country, My Life in Politics and History. And Chris, always great to visit with you. Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to be on this morning.
Well, thank you very much, Cameron. Here I am in Oklahoma. Isn't the president coming down to Oklahoma today? I think he is.
He is. He's coming to Tulsa for the celebration.
Yeah, I grew up knowing about Winter at Valley Forge and the Bunker Hill, and I knew all that. I never knew about it, so we're learning our history finally, all of it, good, bad, and the ugly.
Chris, where did the idea for this book come for you, and maybe did you delve maybe a little deeper than originally intended with the book?
Yeah, probably because I had a lot of time to do it, and I'm bragging. I've had a life that I owe to God, I guess. Because how many people get to hang 2 years in Africa, bopping around on a motorbike, 120 Suzuki? How many people get to drive out into the African veldt with the panorama before them, and you'll love this, the escarpment in the distance. I love the word escarpment because it's right on Tarzan, and you're hanging around with guys in their 40s or 50s who treat you like a son. On the hottest day in the world over there, they would say, "Do you want a cold drink?" Cold drink. They didn't pronounce the D. They say cold drink. And I go, okay. And then they give me some warm Coca-Cola. And there's no refrigerator or an orange Fanta, but they were really nice. And then they come back to Washington, knock on doors, be a Capitol cop for a while as a patronage job, and then finally getting a job as a legislative assistant, a speechwriter to a senator, working my way up to the White House. I'm a speechwriter for Jimmy Carter. I'm flying around the country on Air Force One trying to save the presidency, and then fighting with Tip O'Neill in the back room as his top guy for 6 years. And then when he retired, I go off and become a correspondent. I'm covering the Berlin Wall coming down. I'm in South Africa for the first election of the blacks could vote in, majority elected Mandela, and then be up in Northern Ireland covering the Good Friday Accords. And, even things like you wouldn't think would be powerful to you, like, I don't know if you're Catholic or not, but if you're Catholic, I guess it's a big deal. The Pope's funeral, John Paul II's funeral, and to be there for a whole 10 days watching all those people pay tribute to him from all around the world. I mean, I got to do all this in my life. I was like Forrest Gump, I actually was there. And I wanted to write about it and tell the people who watched me all those years, you missed all this. I never told you about all this stuff. But it's where I came from. I had a life before I had a TV show. And so, this country, it's about democracy at home, seeing how it works from the highest level, and seeing how the rest of the world wanted to be like us. Those Berliners wanted to vote. They couldn't figure out whether they wanted to unite with West Germany. They didn't know whether they wanted capitalism or socialism, but they wanted to vote on it. And the same in South Africa. You can say this for Mandela and maybe a few people in the world. He saved his country from a war because he said, let's not have a war. Let's have an election. Yeah. And there was a white woman who said to me, this is the day I waited for my whole life. When she's standing in line with all the blacks, she was the one white person in line and she wanted to vote. So, life is great. And politics and democracy is certainly great. And I wanted to talk about my experience with it. We need a little cheering section right now for democracy right now. I think we need to believe in it again.
Now, Chris, as you were going through and writing down notes and parts of the history that you got to see, I mean, how much pride do you take looking back at that? And do you have to pinch yourself still about being a part of so many great moments in history?
Hey, Cameron, I think I'm 28, so what do I know? let me tell you, when you're old, you don't feel old. My mom, before she got Alzheimer's, I'm not kidding about this, and I felt sad for her state at the end, but she said when they're 50 something. I feel I'm 28. She never experienced old age. I know it's on the book. I know I wrote it, and I know it happened, and I'm still stunned by it because I wanted to do something like this. I wanted to get into politics, and I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a columnist, a colorful Jimmy Breslin type columnist, and I wanted to knock down and go somewhere, and then go to my Tandy or whatever equipment I had, at the time with the earphones, all that crazy thing you had to use to get the story in. I mean, the guys I'm working with journalism, some of them were from Western Union days. They used to file their columns, Mary McGraw, George Will. They used Western Union. But I'm over there in Africa. I'm in Berlin. I'm in Paris for something, Italy, Ireland, and every place I go, I had to put those couplets on and try to follow my story. I loved writing, being a columnist from wherever I was. I did a bullfighting thing from Barcelona once, and I trashed bullfighting, of course, but I've been to a bunch of bullfights. It's a sin, but I've been there. But I trashed it because I thought it was ridiculous. But I love being a columnist. I love being a speechwriter. I like being a cop. For 3 months, I did it. It was a little scary because I had a gun and a uniform and short hair. And people might have thought I was a real cop, which would have been really scary because I had 5 bullets. They gave us 5 bullets in our gun rather than 6 in case we tripped. Do you believe that? They had such little faith in us, patronage cops. But that was an experience too. Yeah,
that's cool. Now, again, the book, This Country, My Life in Politics and History. Chris, I always want to make sure, let folks know not only where to find more info about the book, but everything you've got going socially as well.
Well, you can go through, get it on Amazon right now and get the book, or Barnes & Noble. You can do it, but these books come in a day or two, a couple of days. I'm also I've just been named Distinguished Professor of American Politics and Media at Fulbright University, Vietnam. I've been teaching classes over in Vietnam. That's one of the great ironies of my life. Vietnam is now our ally against China. We have a common adversary. They very much want to be our ally for obvious reasons, and we want to be their ally. And they love speaking in English. They know more about our politics than we do. These kids say, how come James Bennett got fired by the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times? I said, how do you know about that? Or what do you think about the 1619 project? I go, what? Or, should Trump have been banned from Facebook or from Twitter? They know all this stuff. These are Vietnamese kids living in a different language, and they want to know what we're up to. They like Americans. Isn't that ironically after that terrible war?
That's amazing.
Life has many twists and turns.
That's right. Well, Chris, I truly appreciate you for taking some time out of your schedule to be on this morning. Looking forward to spending some more time with the book, and hopefully we can catch up again real soon, sir.
Have me back, Cameron, anytime. You do that. Thank you.
Now, cops normally use spike strips to stop a high-speed chase. But this works too, I guess. A guy in northern Wisconsin got caught with an expired registration early yesterday morning and decided to run. Now, police chased him for 13 miles before he went off the road and tried to drive through a field. But he didn't get far because a huge wall of cows stopped him. Now, luckily, he didn't hit any of them and no people were hurt either. Now, cops posted a photo on Facebook of the cows checking out the guy's car after he'd been arrested. And they joked that he encountered a, quote, moving blockade. Now, they also thanked their police department's bovine unit for helping them out. We call them friends now as they're making a return visit with us. Youngsters, I would say. Juna and Joey with us today. And first off, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to visit.
Thank you for having us.
Now tell us how excited. I know you're in the vehicle heading out, got some shows coming up. I mean, after what 2020 was, how excited are you to have a summer to actually play some shows?
Oh my gosh, we are so excited. It has definitely been a little bit of a challenge not being able to go out and play shows and interact with the crowd and do all that anymore. So we're excited to get back out there, play some shows.
We have been at our house for I don't even know how long. My mom is a nurse, and she's really cautious about the whole COVID thing. But we're really glad to get back on the road and getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
Now tell us, one of the things that I noticed whenever I got the single out, my first reaction was the growth and the maturity. And how much have you guys really worked on honing your craft over the last year since we spoke last?
Yeah, especially, like we were saying, we haven't been able to go out and play some shows. It's allowed us to, stay home and kind of work behind the scenes, working on just perfecting, Joey and I's craft and our harmonies, a lot of writing as well, and also just working on some social media stuff and getting ready to put out these 4 songs. So it's been a lot of behind the scenes, kind of gathering our stuff, getting ready to go back out there and play some shows. So.
I'm so glad that, I was into sports. I don't know if you know, but I was playing basketball, baseball, football, soccer and stuff. And I'm so glad Juliana actually had lessons, because if she didn't and she wasn't singing, I would never know I could sing. So It just worked out great. And we're just so happy to, do music together.
Now, how much of a growing process was it for brother and sister to work alongside together? And is it still a work in progress is probably what I should ask, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. There'll be times
the more we work together, the better it'll get. And obviously, we're trying to put out some, harmonies, brother and sister harmonies, family harmonies for the other people to listen to and, relate to, because there's not a lot of duos out there. There are, but I just feel like brother and sister are more.
That bond is very special, and we're so grateful to have each other in the singing realm and the music realm, to be able to work together and, create something very special. And hopefully love our music and want to listen to it. So, yeah.
Now, what has been the biggest challenge this last year for you guys, musically, writing, maybe inspiration-wise?
Yeah, we definitely haven't, been able to make that many. Okay, we definitely made a lot more memories, when we were out on the road and traveling and doing all that, because, that's where the memories come, in experiences. And that's kind of how we like to write, through experiences and our stories and stuff we go through. So it's definitely been a little bit challenging not having gone through as many experiences and, creating new memories. But just been kind of, writing whenever we feel and whenever we have an idea catch on, just writing it down, either to work on later or in the moment, just picking up your guitar and jamming on a riff or something.
Well, during this summer, like I said, COVID happened, and we decided to do COVID covers. So we picked some songs out that kind of had to deal with COVID. And so we did songs like
All By Myself,
6 Feet Apart by Luke Combs.
Right.
Great time doing that. And I felt like that would relate to all the people out there that are just, home and they want to listen to songs. So we decided to do that.
Now, who are the groups or the artists that you guys really are inspired by, or that maybe make you push yourself a little bit harder, if you will?
Well, since we're a duo, we love to listen to Dan and Shay, because we kind of try to replicate their repertoire and their vibe. And we also like Luke Combs a lot, because his rasp is just there's something about it.
Ballerini, oh my gosh, she is an amazing live performer and writer. She just, every time she goes out on stage, she kills it, and that's just something that is so inspiring and so amazing that
she never misses a note.
Oh, she never misses anything. She's just amazing. I love her so much. So yeah, I would say she's definitely a big inspiration. Also, same Dan and Shay, Luke Combs, love them. They're so amazing. And yeah.
Now, how much do you guys appreciate the social media and the following that you've got there? Especially, I mean, that's all a lot of artists have had to really keep them a little bit of sanity this last year. I'd said a little bit, not complete.
We got a huge team behind us. We have, a social media person. We got our manager, Diane. Without her, we would be nowhere. We got our parents to back us up. We got a whole team going for us, and without them, we would be nothing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have made connections through social media, especially in the last year, not being able to make those face-to-face connections, but using the tool of the internet and online and Instagram and all those, just being able to make connections through that, and also engaging with our online fans more, because during our shows and stuff, we can talk and make connections with our fans live, when we do performances. But for those who obviously can't come or live far away, it's good for us to be able to talk with them and do weekly lives just to catch up on them and let them know what's kind of going on in our lives, new music and stuff. So it's definitely been a great advantage to us, to have that social media following and able to be connected to them. And
in order for your social medias to stay put, you got to be consistent with your lives and your posting, because your fans, that just gets them more involved and you can get a bigger following. Because I remember when we started, we had 25 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we started posting covers.
Shout out to those 25. So
yeah, I know,
right?
So yeah, we've been posting consistently on YouTube, but unfortunately our comments got taken away. but we're still trying to go through and
get those back.
Yeah.
Now, of the two of you, who is the morning person, and who wants to be left alone?
She sleeps until 3:00.
I is important, so I like to take as much sleep as I possibly can, and also just rehydrate my brain, and rejuvenate it for writing purposes.
I usually get up in the morning, like around 8.
Oh, Joey's a morning person.
8 to 9, 8 to 10.
I would say I'm more of a night owl. I could be up literally till like 5 in the morning, just doing whatever it is I do,
So who is it?
Cups of coffee though.
Yeah. Now who's the drama queen or king of the two of you?
I
figured there'd be alternate pointing going on there.
I would definitely say Joey. He is very sensitive to like smells and like different like perfumes and hand sanitizers and all that. So I could literally put on perfume and he'd be like, Juna, I can't breathe. Like,
I'm allergic
yes,
to
you
it.
can.
What do you want me to do?
He's very dramatic. And yeah, his eating habits are very picky and just.
My eating habits? No, I think your eating habits are crazy.
I think we're both a little bit drama queens.
We got some things. We got some things.
You got some things in common is what you're saying, right? Yeah. Now tell our listeners a little bit where the inspiration for the new single, Something Good to Miss, where this came from and how proud you are of the project that you've got out in listeners' ears and players as well.
Well, during COVID, we actually went up to Nashville and we recorded 4 songs with the lovely guy, Kenny Royster, who decided to go with Luke Combs as his first artist, I think. And he did the album Hurricane, I think. Not the album, it was the song Hurricane.
Yep.
Yes, and that song like literally went viral. And so it was great. It was a great time to work with Kenny Royster because of how like amazing he really is and how smart he is. And we decided to do 4 songs. And the name of one of the songs that we did was Something Good to Miss, and Juna will tell you.
Yeah, we are so proud of it. It took us, it was a while to, get it out and get everything ready for the big release, like, putting together all the merch and all like the stuff that goes behind it. And yeah, it was definitely a process to get it out, but we're so excited that it's now out so that our fans can, just hear some of hear our sound and know like what they can expect from Joey and I, like with our music. And yeah, it was a great time to just be able to go up there and meet him and just be in that studio because he had like a list of all the singers that had sang on the mic. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm singing on the same mic as Luke. Like it was just so cool to like know that and experience that.
And our genre is country pop. That's where we go for. And we're just so glad that we got to, do songs with him. And we even have merch for our new single, Something Good to Miss. So if you guys don't have t-shirts out there, it's
on our website,
get one.
JunaNJoey.com. And also the song is kind of about, having something good to miss, like while you're away, whether it's like for military families or whether it's business or whether it's anything else, just having someone to come back home to and having something good to miss. So yeah.
Go now again, Juna and Joey. Sorry about that. Want to give you guys an opportunity to let folks know not only where they can find the merch, the music, tour dates, social media, all that stuff.
Well, pretty much everything is on our website, JunaNJoey.com, but you can also keep up with us personally through Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, pretty much every social media.
TikTok's a big
also
one.
TikTok, yeah.
And also bands in town. That's what we're trying to get because we love playing shows and, in Nashville, we just bought a house up there. And so we're really excited to, be up there all the time and perform.
And also,
that's the music city.
Yeah,
and also, going to England in September, so any of y'all fans over in England, you can check out our tour dates there too, with 20. She's an artist from England, and it's going to be a crazy experience. And so if y'all want to keep up with that, make sure to check our social medias because we're going to be posting so much and some behind the scenes stuff too. So yeah, and we have a new original coming out very soon, so there's also something to look forward to.
And we have music videos as well.
Yes.
You guys, what do you do in your off time? There's no such thing, right?
Not really.
That's why I'm getting my sleep now.
Yeah, on the road.
That's right. Well, Juna and Joey, it is always great to visit with you guys. I appreciate you taking some time on the road with us today and look forward to catching up again real soon.
Yeah,
definitely. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks again for joining us for this 89th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. If you ever have a comment, question, anything else you'd like to know, you can hit me up on the contact page at gqwithcam.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at GQWithCam. If you'd like to help out in the funding for this podcast, you can visit the merch store. We've got hoodies, tumblers, mugs, stickers, shirts, and more at gqwithcam.com/shop. And if you have a special guest idea, email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com. Well, thanks again to our good friend Brandon Allen for coming up with our theme music. We're going to let him play us out and hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday.